Gilbert Corsi, WDRB News. This week we aired a two-part investigation on House Bill 206, a law that was designed to close a loophole in law enforcement, but we found that one still exists. 206 required the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council to decertify officers who had been convicted of misdemeanor sex crimes. Without certification, they cannot work in law enforcement anywhere in Kentucky. What we found is that there was at least one case, and we're told more, of an officer who was convicted of a misdemeanor sex crime and got the record expunged. And so that created this hole about what happens to those officers whose crime was expunged from their record and they've continued to work in law enforcement. The focus of our story was a man by the name of Todd Walls. In 1996, he worked for the old Louisville Division of Police. And he was charged with first and third degree rape, sodomy, and unlawful transaction with a minor for a sexual relationship, the court documents say he had, with a 15-year-old girl.
I was a child in a very grown-up situation, and you grow up really quickly. You know, I wasn't allowed to have a childhood because I was involved with an adult, and it's wrong.
So this is supposed to be the story behind the story. We obtained the old Crimes Against Children's Unit police file. And within that file was a recorded conversation. Police recorded a conversation between Walls and his 15-year-old victim. And that was eye-opening in this reporting, because that conversation was them talking about the details of their sex life, according to the transcript. All of the charges against Walls were ultimately pled down to misdemeanor sexual misconduct. And then that record was expunged, and he has continued to work in law enforcement for more than 20 years. We know that this story is already having an impact. In the hours since it has aired, I've been contacted by high levels of state government. Ultimately, as journalists, we have a responsibility to uncover, to find, reveal, report the truth. And that's what we did in this story from front to back. I don't think it'll be the last reporting on this situation. We'll see if the legislature takes up House Bill 206 and the part that's unclear in it right now. We'll see if the Kentucky Law Enforcement Council moves forward with revocation on Todd Walls' license or any kind of sanctioning there. We'll see what the Sheriff's Department does, because there's an accountability interview in part 2. It's why did the Sheriff's Office hire Todd Walls? Should this department have hired Todd Walls?
It's a decision to be made. Sometimes you make the right one, sometimes you make the wrong one. I don't know that we made the wrong one or the right one in this case.
Did you know that Todd Walls had been charged with a sex crime in the 90s?
We knew there were allegations of that, yes.
Do you still think that background check was extensive?
I think the one area that we could have gone farther would be the archives.
Because even if the records were expunged and they said they couldn't find the records, there was a lot of information out there. Public reporting even from his 1996 conviction. We went back into our own archives and found it. So what will be the future of his employment at the Sheriff's Office? Lots of follow-ups to come, and we will stay on top of it for you.